I want to take a moment to discuss chiropractic and auto accidents. In auto accidents, which are very unfortunate, there's a part of the body which is usually injured in an auto accident that can vary depending on how you get hit, how you're strapped in, where you're sitting in the car, and so on. It really doesn't matter what part of the body was injured. In chiropractic, our job is to help the body heal itself and recover from the injury. We do this by treating the system that controls healing, and that's the brain and nervous system. So our job is to restore the function of the brain and nervous system by removing the areas which have been stressed from the accident, thereby the patient being able to restore their injuries. This is the most important thing that anybody could understand if they're pursuing chiropractic from an auto accident. And this is what distinguishes chiropractic from other healthcare professions, is we're going at the source. So if they've injured their shoulder, they may need some physiotherapy for the treatment of those tissues which are injured through other modalities, whether it be laser, ultrasound, low volt, whatever the case may be. But the chiropractor's job is to restore the healing function to the shoulder, and this is what we specialize in doing. One of the most common injuries as a result of auto injuries is whiplash. And why is that? Because your body's strapped into the car, but your head's free, and an impact will cause your head to move in the direction opposite to the impact. So if it's from the side, you get whiplash to the side. If it's from the back, you get whiplash to the back, and so on. Then your head whips forward. So we call it a whiplash, and that creates a problem within the cervical spine. Chiropractic is a specialty that treats the spine. Chiropractors have an intimate understanding of the function of the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, and the lumbar spine, such that we can restore its function, hence have the body restore its capacity to heal the injury, which in this case would be the whiplash. So if ever there's a profession to pursue as a result of whiplash, it's chiropractic. Now, within our profession, there are many different treatment techniques and modalities that we have to utilize, from different types of adjustment and soft tissue techniques. If someone has been in a whiplash, these techniques need to be gentle as opposed to abrupt most often. Particularly the shorter the period of time following the accident, these techniques need to be gentle. And one of the techniques that I utilize in my practice is with an instrument that can be set on different intensities. Gentle is one of those settings, and I am a specialist in restoring the function of the spine and the nervous system, and this would be an optimal profession to pursue if you've experienced a whiplash. If you've been in a motor vehicle accident, particularly within the last 24 hours, and you're just checking into what you can do about it, it's important to give yourself at least 48 hours to determine or report any type of injury to an insurance company or any other association that's got some involvement in helping you recover. The reason I mention that is that when you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, there are a lot of hormones that kick in to assist your body in the tissue injury that you've incurred. And these hormones restrict your ability to necessarily feel pain, and it's only when those systems settle that you may begin to feel symptoms that developed in some part of your body that you weren't aware that you were injured. So give yourself at least 48 hours to see how you feel before you can fully assess any injury that you might have incurred in a motor vehicle accident. There is an important distinction to be made for injury that everyone should keep in mind. When you're in a motor vehicle accident, you have your physical body that is usually traumatized or injured in one place or another. And almost all of us think in terms of physical components of our body. But very few people think about the system that's controlling all parts of the physical, which is your brain and nervous system. These tissues are very soft and they're like a jelly. And when you're in a motor vehicle accident, they get whipped or traumatized as much as the physical part of you. Well, those tissues, your brain and nervous system, are running the show. They're controlling the health of everything. But if you've had trauma to your central nervous system, you can expect to have things like headaches, dizziness, problems with your vision, problems with memory, focus and concentration, which is like a stress disorder from the motor vehicle accident. So this tissue, the most important tissue in the body, your brain and nervous system, needs to be evaluated and needs to be addressed, because if that doesn't recover, you're not recovering. So focus on the nervous system as well as the physical components of your body that have been injured in the accident. As a regulated healthcare professional, a chiropractor, in order to treat patients who've been involved in motor vehicle accident, we have to specifically apply to do this and be registered to do this. And to let you know that I have been registered for many years. I participate in this program and I specialize in treating patients who've been involved in motor vehicle accidents. We also specialize in providing this information of your condition to people like lawyers who can best represent you and their insurance companies so that they understand in an intimate way what's actually happened to you and what's necessary in restoring your health and in sorting out the legal details of that. Of course, we also work with other healthcare professionals that may be necessary to assist you as well, exchanging information, providing them with information about your condition from a functional or a chiropractic perspective, so they too are involved in the healing process and can help you in those ways. Having said that, if you have been involved in a motor vehicle accident and you have been receiving care from one or more professionals, and you're not getting the results that you need, your health's not being restored, you have now developed chronic problems that do not seem to go away, I would highly encourage you to receive my care or to pursue chiropractic. The reason being is that chiropractors specifically focus on addressing injury to the nervous system, which means the nervous system has been stressed or it wasn't able to adapt you to the accident. That's what the stress on the nervous system is. And that chiropractors specialize in finding out where the nervous system is stressed, removing that stress to reconnect your brain's capacity to heal the part of your body, or to reconnect the information highway from the brain to the part of your body that's been injured, so this healing process within the body begins to develop or ensue, and that you can then recover from the injury. There is no injury that you can't recover from to some degree, to some optimal degree, and it would be a degree that should be relatively satisfactory rather than being always in a state of distress and in pain. That's not normal. You haven't found the right practitioner to assist you in resolving the problem to get to that state. Restore the nervous system, you restore the body. If you've been involved in a motor vehicle accident, there's some practical information that you should know about as it relates to billing and healing. Healthcare practitioners have to assess your injuries and then provide this information to the insurance industry, your insurance companies. And we have to qualify the degree to which you've been injured. And regardless of the degree to which you've been injured, the majority of people come under what we call minor injury guidelines. Rather than losing a limb, an eye, something of this nature, they've been injured to some lesser degree, which most people fit into this category. And that category applies or allows a certain amount of funds, let's say around a couple $1,000s, to assist you in restoring from your injuries. Regardless of what practitioner you see or practitioners, you only have that couple $1,000s. So if the practitioner that you're currently seeing is not able to attend to all of your injuries and you see another practitioner, that couple $1,000s has to be divided between them. So Make sure you see the right practitioner to begin with. Make certain that you get a referral, you do some due diligence, that that practitioner has a good record, and then go see them. Another point that is pertinent to people who have been involved in motor vehicle accidents is that when you're considering chiropractic, which in my biased view is an excellent choice, of course, a lot of people have apprehension, unfortunately, about chiropractic that is not warranted scientifically. They have a fear of being quote unquote cracked. We call it an adjustment. When you've been involved in a chiropractic accident, the last thing you want is more trauma. Chiropractic is extremely safe, has a very high safe record as well. There's a lot of scientific evidence that supports its safety and effectiveness, and we don't have to quote unquote crack your back or adjust you manually. Adjustments can be performed through gentle techniques which are just as effective and more appropriate for people who've been injured recently.